I'm Valentin Pugachev, and I am an anchor of Spokesperson of Peaceful Life project supported by federal government of Germany, and now we're going to speak about holding the government accountable publicly, fighting corruption on city level. So we understand that power that coordinates the life of the society, they should be responsible for their actions, and society should carry out control. And this is built by responsible citizens. And one of the projects of such control is Center of Public Control that is called D in Mariupol. The attitude of the local government to public control and what challenges are in the sphere and the results achieved in the course of realization of such project. We are going to discuss this issue with Yulia Bashkirova, a lawyer. Good afternoon, Yulia. Do you hear us well? Good afternoon. For the start, first I would like to ask, for how long has been Center been in operation, and about Mariupol, what is the staff of your center in Mariupol? I am Yulia. I am the lawyer of the center. We have been working from July 2015, first in Donetsk Oblast, Mariupol and Kramatorsk. We worked, sponsored by People Need, the organization of Czech Republic, and starting August 2016, we have a network. We are in 5 regions, oblasts: Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Vinnytsia, and Ternopil oblasts. It happens so that in Donetsk Oblast we have 2 teams, Kramatorsk and Mariupol. The start of our activity, we faced the main problem. So people complained to courts, and then all the cases were revised by one judge, despite electronic processing of documentation. So all our claims were lost when we addressed to law enforcers, or they didn't find any crimes in this, and we constantly appeal to the court because of it, and we had constant difficulties because they didn't want to cooperate with us. And now we have some improvements. We introduced on the 23rd of August 2015, we introduced in the single registry the case of there was a case of embezzlement for 2 million hryvnias. So we entered this information to the single registry, and then there were some delays in the cases, and we addressed to law enforcers and we appealed to courts, and they just had some shadow agreements between themselves. So maybe that was the case, but then there were a lot of complaints, and now tomorrow I'm going to the police department to provide explanations, and then a woman also will be there who will provide evidence on the case, and also we will appeal against the decision of city head that he provided obligations or responsibilities to his deputies, despite it is prohibited by legislation, because the responsibility the documents can be signed only by mayor and the secretary, not by the secretary of city council. And also there is one criminal case, and we do not have results. In the case of Glatvenka, first deputy mayor, because there was some alleged misappropriation of city money, and also 11th hospital, Glatvenka signed the documents that to provide this hospital to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. So there are a lot of different cases concerning violations committed by local government. And going back to the start of our discussion, so you started your activity in July 2015, and you said that you are funded by Czech Foundation. Are there any other donors that support your activity? Starting August 2016, we established a network. Then European Union started to fund us. This was one single grant provided by two organizations, and our work is not only in our oblasts, but also throughout regions where we are needed. Can you tell us one more time? I remember Zaporizhzhia, Vinnytska, Donetska oblasts, Ternopil oblasts, and Donetsk in 2 places. Do I understand correctly? Yes, we have 5 teams. And statistics. And how many people in Mariupol are there in your office? We have 3 people, lawyer, journalist, and civil activist, who also participate in monitoring of local regional legislation and take part in commissions of city council meetings. So we have 3 people on our team. And about the number of investigations, how many investigations were carried out, how many cases were brought to court? Maybe some figures. Can you specify? So, all the cases. So, in case of appeal and closure of the case, and no case was brought to court yet. And what is the reaction of local government on this attempt of civil society to control, to monitor the activity of the government? As of now, at the site of the city council, they started to publish the decisions of city council, and also in the course of session, the deputies also considered the conflict of interests. So there are some positive developments, but they are very, very small. Thank you, Yulia. And in what areas do these violations occur more often? First, concerning commissions, permanent commissions of the deputies, while completing the protocols, they do it without following the procedure. So this is a minor violation, but when we address courts and start to appeal actions concerning appeal against the decisions of local government, we face the challenge that we just cannot see what they discussed that day, because there are such points as question 1, question 2, question 3, and what question was really discussed, we don't know. So these are procedural issues, and also when they do not, when they do some violations in the course of while being in office. So is this your initiative? Do you really reveal those violations, or people call you or somehow contact you? Firstly, from the start of the project, these were our initiatives mainly, because people, they didn't know about our center, and in order to have this, so we needed some time. And now about violations, we know about them from active citizens and organizations, local councils, because it is difficult for 3 people just to get all the necessary information. That's why we try to contact with activists who are ready for productive dialogue. So what about the contacts? Are you on the social media? Do you have site, maybe hotline, post address? We have Facebook page, Center of Hromadske Control Action Mariupol. And also in Mariupol, everyone knows my telephone number. We carry out training. We try to contact people. And the site is also under development, and now maybe soon it will appear, and on the site you will be able to see the work of our centers, and you will be able to get information, and there will be some typical documents based on which the citizens can address with some information requests in order to get information. Thank you very much. Several questions. So, what are the levers that can our citizens use in order to influence those who are in office? Can you please tell us about them? First of all, this is the participation in the life of city, participation in the commissions of deputies. Every citizen have the right to send a request and to get information, and unimpeded access, so our citizens rarely use this opportunity. Also, we carried out the training in order to explain to Mariupol residents what their rights are according to the Constitution and the legislative acts in order to improve the quality of life of residents of our city, to get a comfortable life, have the right, and they should be provided with answers to those questions they want to get from local government. So, summing up the activity starting 2015 until now, summing up, were you able to change something in the course of the realization of this project, and are there grounded positive results due to your work in the sphere? Maybe it is too difficult to say what are these results, but we take part in all local events. We are trying to be present in all the sessions of City Council, and we are participating in the working group, and we were able to resolve conflict of interest that was in Dmitriev family when he was the condominium head and she was the head of education department, and he and she they resigned and officially and they moved, and so we didn't allow law enforcers to close the case, and as of now, we were able to resolve the conflict of interests, and also the City Council takes into account the conflict of interests of the deputies and say that during taking the decision they should pay attention to this, and also that citizens started to be more active, and they start to be more active in the life of the city, and we hope that we made our contribution to this. And the last question from me, what are your plans? Do you plan to continue this work further, and do you plan to open offices in other towns and cities? Yes, we are going to continue our activity, because this part of our project will be for the next 10 months, and then we will prolong our activity. And after the completion of the project, I hope that our team will continue the work in this format, and we will continue our activity. Thank you, Yulia. Do you have questions?
Thank you, Yulia. Any further questions? Since there are no further questions, we will finish now. Thank you for finding time to communicate with us, and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Дякую, колеги.
Dear colleagues, for being with us. The next the next release of Spokesperson of Peaceful Life will be next Thursday.